Joan is 82 years old. She lives alone, although her daughter Margaret lives about 25 minutes away. She enjoys her independence, and she's been managing very well. Joan has several medical conditions, which necessitate her taking medication twice a day, in the morning at 7 a.m. and at 5 p.m. There are rather a lot of pills to take, but with the help from Margaret, who divides them up into little boxes every week, it works quite well. Although there are a few battles between the pair of them about how this should be done. After all, Joan feels she has always coped with taking her own pills. She doesn't really need any help. Well, not up to now. But in the last few weeks, she has started to worry a bit. Is she taking the right ones? Was it this box, or maybe that one? And sometimes she's not quite sure whether it's morning or evening. So she has started to phone Margaret to check a few times. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to remember what to do. Only last week, she dropped them all on the floor. But she was sure she managed to pick them all up. She wouldn't bother to tell Margaret. She would just get cross or fuss or something. Providing Joan keeps to her prescription, her medical problems are stable, and she still enjoys her garden and a little walk. Being at home is good, she thinks. Last week, she came in from the garden just before lunch and saw her pills on the table and thought, well, I better take them. I'm sure I haven't had them today. She had in fact already had her morning ones. After lunch, she had a little nap for an hour, but when she woke up at 3, she felt very confused. She was sure it must now be morning, and she'd better have her pills. At 4 o'clock, Joan didn't feel very well, so she thought she would take one of her yellow pills, which she knew would make her feel better. When she had her tea at 5, she remembered that she was supposed to take her pills then. So she did, with a nice cup of tea. When her daughter Margaret rang at 6, which she did every day, Joan said she really didn't feel very well. Margaret asked if she had taken her proper pills, and Joan said yes, and not to be so silly, of course. She had taken exactly what she was supposed to, and to stop being so bossy. At 9 p.m, Margaret rang her mum again. Joan really didn't feel very well, and she couldn't answer the phone. Joan had actually taken more than twice her daily medication within 9 hours. Margaret arrived to find Joan collapsed on the floor, and she was rushed off to hospital, where she stayed for 5 days until they managed to stabilise her condition. Margaret, the hospital staff, and local social services got together. Everyone still felt that Joan was happy living at home, and that she could cope, providing that she stayed on her medication. Fortunately, the hospital discharge unit had heard of the Pivotell automatic pill dispenser, and suggested to Margaret and Joan that they should try and use one. Back home, and after a couple of days, Joan soon got into the routine of using the dispenser, and morning and evening, when it rang, she picked it up and tipped out her pills. No more worrying about Mum taking the wrong pills, or too many, or not enough, says Margaret. I seem to be able to manage so much better now, says Joan. Of course I did before. It was Margaret. She just fussed.